I told you guys I was coming to the court hearing of a dark-skinned man that's in here fighting for his rights. We just was able to witness the arguments that took place, and I got him here with us right now. And let's see, I'll let him introduce himself to you guys. All right, Jamisa, you might want to get out the camera because I'm live now. I'm live on my YouTube.
It's facing you, or should I go sit over there?
You can go sit over there.
Wow, I feel kind of crazy like this.
You're good. All right, I'm gonna let you just take over.
Listen, this is an issue, and I'm sending it out to my Facebook.
Well, first of all, let me ask you, what is the purpose of us being here? What just happened? What just took place? Why are we here?
You all just came here for the sake of support, and I appreciate it. But the issue for the court was whether the trial court abuses discretion when it ordered me to, one, sign a release of parties not included in my complaint, and against my objections. Two, whether the trial court erred in allowing the release to include parties that were not represented by an attorney who had never made an appearance in accordance with law. The other issue
Let me ask you a question so that we make sure that we put everything in context. What's your case initially about? What is the case?
it was an automobile negligence case.
Okay, what happened?
A driver rear-ended me while I was at a red light, and through the proceeding when we had a deposition, she admitted it. She said it on the record, and in the deposition, you can go to my YouTube or my Dropbox and get the information. She had full control of the vehicle. She was not distracted, and she did a rolling stop into the rear of my vehicle. By the way, State Farm even admitted negligence.
And just so they understand, you are actually representing yourself.
Yes.
And
I don't recommend that. I recommend you get a qualified and competent attorney. However, in the instances where you couldn't otherwise afford one, then you may have to do it yourself. And I'm a creature of necessity.
And why did you decide to represent yourself? Just so that
It's
people
very
understand.
difficult for me, based upon my reputation, to find attorneys who are willing to represent me. I probably could have found one for this instance, but I was tutored very well by a guy by an attorney by the name of Brian Lebovic. Get his book, Not a Good Neighbor, by Brian Lebovic, and you'll learn quite a bit because he has kind of been a tutor for me or a mentor for me when it comes to automobile negligence. And he wrote a book that would help other self-represented litigants get sufficient award for their injuries.
Okay, so, all right, so that's just give you guys a little bit of a background. The reason why we're here, first of all, I don't even think you even said your name. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Greg Doss. He is what we call a pro se, which means a person that represents themselves as their own attorney. And this is a big deal, and I'm gonna tell you guys why this is a big deal. The building that we're interviewing from right now is the Second District Court of Appeals. And we just came out of that room listening to Greg's oral arguments in front of the Second District Court of Appeals judges. And it's not easy to get to this level. You have to be very disciplined. So I kind of want you to speak to that point and why it was so important for you to get to this level.
Well, I'll say this. When I realized that what the attorneys for State Farm had done to me, it irritated me. But what further irritated me is to know that they were willing to do this to veterans. Underhandedly hire VA attorneys to represent, as a VA, underhandedly hire VA doctors to see veterans for compulsory medical examinations on behalf of insurance companies to minimize our award in these cases. And when I realized what was going on, I brought it to their attention. They pretty much gave me the middle finger.
And you're a veteran, right?
Absolutely.
What branch?
United States Army.
All right, all right.
As Navy, they saw.
Thank you for your service. All right.
The honor was mine.
Keep going.
And then, as it continued to move forward, and I was having a difficulty with the judge. And my difficulty with the judge, and by the way, I think there's plenty of great judges out here. I don't know what the real issue was. There's some underlying issues involving me because I sued people and done other things in the court. So it may be because of that, but I just found it difficult to accept that the judge was willing to overlook the unethical behavior and potentially criminal activity of the law firm that State Farm knowingly and willingly hired in the face of all the information I presented to them. Again, this case is not over with. We're hoping to get a favorable judgment at the second DCA. But when the judge ordered me to go sign the release, they talked about the $30,000 check, and she tried to act as if I went there voluntarily. The judge's order said, I'm ordering you, in her ruling, she said, I'm ordering you to go and sign the release. And if you don't sign the release, it would have the same force and effect in 10 days as if you had signed it. That's her order. That's in the record.
And what was the issue with that? Why was that a problem for you?
Because I didn't agree to because when you go into a mediation, remember you have a privilege. We all agree to privileged information. I'll just say this: the stipulation agreement and the letter of release did not reflect what my intention was inside of the mediation. And when I raised the issue, all we had to do was just come back to the table and negotiate. They chose not to. And again, I said inside the whole argument, I believe that they called the second mediation a subterfuge to try to obfuscate from the criminal activity of Dr. John Shields, Austin Road Baskel, and whoever else at State Farm authorizes foolishness in the matter. And anybody who wants any information, they can always email you, hopefully, but they can email me, and I'll show it all to them. Plus, you can go into the records, 2018 CA 3553 in Hillsborough County, the 13th Judicial Circuit. Everything that I filed is in there. You can go look it up yourself.
Right. And just to put this into context a little bit more, because I want you to kind of give a background to who you are and what you do as a with your consulting, so that people understand. Okay, they see us in a courtroom, they see us at the Second District Court of Appeals, but they're like, okay, why is this relevant? To me, it's relevant because I feel like there's not enough Black folks that's willing to stand up for their rights in the courts. They are intimidated. They are afraid. They don't want, some of us don't want to take the time to do the research, but a lot of it has to do with just fear. And you are a fearless person, that you don't have a law degree, but you took the time to educate yourself and study the law because you knew that your rights was violated, and you had the courage to say, I'm going to follow this through. So can you kind of give us a little bit of background into like your business, your consulting business, what you do, and why you do what you do as a pro se?
Okay, I'm Greg Doss, G, non-attorney pro se consultant. I'm not an attorney. I don't have a license to practice law. I do not practice law. What I do is study law and tell people what I've learned and how I gather the information. So I'll never give you information as advice to apply to your specific case, but it's general information regarding the law and lawful principles which do belong to the people. So anytime you get anything from me, use it for educational edification only. And I say that because I want nothing that I say to be construed to be legal advice. If you feel you need legal advice, I highly encourage you to hire a licensed and hopefully competent attorney and be legally advised. And now I actually do work at a law firm, which is why I recommend people to go get you good, adequate legal assistance. I got here because I could not afford the help that I needed. And because I couldn't afford it, I had one choice: either take it or to learn more about the issues that were germane to my situations. And what I did is I took it upon myself to start learning. For most people who know me, I started in the area of child support, and I put several traffic issues as well. And then, of course, the criminal perjury, where I was falsely accused of perjury in an official proceeding. I won that case self-represented. In fact, I'm still in the Middle District.
How many cases have you won as a self-represented litigant?
You're gonna ask how many cases ended in my favor without a conviction? Probably about 14.
That's a lot. That's impressive. Y'all, 14 cases.
They're all, you mean the criminal cases, right?
It doesn't matter. If you are not an attorney and you're winning your own cases, self-representing yourself, it's a lot to be said about that, because again, we know that the criminal justice system, it's a lot of people that are locked up behind bars taking plea deals and stuff like that because they either don't have, like you said, the money to get good legal representation, or they don't know how to represent themselves. So if more people took the time to do what you're doing and learn and study, then it's possible. You just said you won 14 cases as a self-representative litigant. That is extremely important, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm taking away from this is that you should stand up and fight for yourself and learn the law, and because this is our right, this is our constitutional right.
Well, I would hope that more people would avoid some of the situations I seem to have found myself in, or seem to have found me. And in all instances, I'd rather resolve issues amicably. Even when it came to this situation, I would have loved to resolve it amicably. And if I'm being candid, let me tell you this also. What actually brought me here was, and I told the attorneys on the other side, you're not going to convince me, at the time, I'm a 50-year-old black man, that if those two insured women were not black, we would try them like that. They had adequate coverage. We never should have gotten there. So now you've actually subjected those two ladies to, or at least the mother, to a brand new lawsuit. And the insurance company's obligation in Florida, and it's not legal advice, you can look it up, it's to not operate in bad faith. Meaning they're supposed to resolve the matter in the best interest of the insured. State Farm has probably spent who knows how much money in an issue that they could have resolved simply by giving up the policy. All the bad faith goes out the window and everything else, but instead, because State Farm mistreats their insured, and in this instance, mistreated an elderly African American woman, it aggravated me. I already told them, I don't care how you feel about me, but I know what you have done is wrong. Unfortunately, they don't realize that what State Farm did was wrong, and if anybody has an issue with the insurance company, always take it to the insurance commissioner.
Do you do any type of provide any type of consulting services or anything like that? We know that you're not a lawyer, you don't represent people.
Yes.
But do you provide any type of consulting services or anything like that?
Anybody wants to reach me, I can consult. I can't give legal advice, but you can go to gdnapsc.com and you'll find me, or just Google Greg Doss child support.
And what kind of help do you give? Like, what kind of cases do you consult on?
I just understand the law generally. You know, my background is political science, but I read well, and I think my life's experiences brought me here. And I went to elementary school at Boulevard Elementary in Biloxi, Mississippi. And this is before those casinos came back in the 70s, in the early 80s. And what I would say is, I'm also familiar with relevant United States history. I was born in the watershed the year 1968, so I don't pretend not to see what I see. And then at the same time, like only 7% of us. I did say I do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I obey the lawful orders of the President of the United States and officers appointed above me in accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. And I did it. So I say this to all veterans. They give us nothing. We successfully completed our military obligation. We were willing to give our life for a set of principles. Many of us did. So for no other reason, I come in here because at one time in my life, knowingly or unknowingly, I was willing to get shot in the face for a set of principles on parchment. So I don't play with it. And I'm trying to give you a PG-rated interview because you know how that other guy come out every now and then.
But who's the other guy? Can you tell us a little bit about the other guy?
He got my man over there laughing. We don't want Squid to come out of here.
Who? Squid? Who is Squid?
Hey, said the courthouse is not the place for Squid.
Okay, all right.
But trust me, he's always with. He's
I
like
got
the
you.
good and bad angel.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the Second District Court of Appeals. We just finished witnessing Greg Doss present oral arguments in front of the justices, and it was about a car accident. That's the original case, and
Not a car accident, hitting on purpose. But yeah, you call it automobile negligence. It's gross negligence is what my argument is. And I want to say this also. I really appreciate the treatment by the panel at today's oral argument. They gave me fair opportunities to speak. There's probably things that in review I wish I would have covered more succinctly, but I wanted to make sure I got those issues out. But I want to say thank you to the Second District Court of Appeals.
And just I just want to know, like, what was the process of getting your case heard in this court? What did you have to do?
So we went through the lower tribunal court case. We had some disputes.
And in layman's terms, what does the lower tribunal mean?
I filed a case in a circuit court in Hillsborough County, Florida. We went through the court case. There were some issues within the court case. I raised objections to that. so that I could preserve my right to bring it to appeal. We went through the whole court case. The court case ultimately was dismissed by the circuit court judge. I appealed her ruling, and when I appealed the ruling, the second DCA certified it and then gave me what's called what I sent you. They gave me a date for oral argument. Make sure you always ask for oral argument. I had to file an initial brief. I think you can, I don't know if you can come to their site and pull my brief, but if you want to see my brief, you can always pull my brief.
And why is it important to ask for an oral argument?
Well, I wanted an oral argument because I could have just filed the appeal.
But why? What's the importance of that?
I think it's important. I thought it was important for me to come here and present my case. Who would understand my case better than me? I was there from beginning to end. Anita Baker, 365 days a year. But yeah, I was there from.
And again, I want to remind people that Greg is not an attorney. He is a pro se litigant.
At all.
And this is the reason that's important is because it takes a lot of intelligence, determination, stamina, intellectual and mental ability to be able to pull this off at this level, being that he's not an attorney. That's the most important part to me. That's what I take away from this, because again, I just see so many people that even though we live in a country where we have all these rights, people do not do what you do. You are not the typical person. Most people do not exercise their rights. They allow their rights to get violated either because they don't know or because they don't have the resources or the understanding that you can pursue your own case as a pro se. Can you just talk a little bit about that to help people understand their right to pursue a legal action as a pro se litigant without an attorney?
Well, your rights are your rights. You know, you came here with your rights. They're not given to you. They're just, the Constitution protects them. And it may sound funny to certain people, but yeah, I truly believe that there's a better side of things. I believe sometimes, unfortunately, wrong people get into positions, certain positions. But with that being said, let me roll back and say I had to thank people like Steve the Dean Williams, because when he brought me into Blog Talk Radio, he helped me establish what they call my chops for the radio. Sean McDowell, who's walked me through everything I've ever done, and he was surprised to realize that my daughter had got her white jacket. I said, yeah, we've been doing this that long. The many people on on these other sites and these other platforms that brought me into speech. I had to thank my homeboy Life, because without Life, Malcolm, Attorney Life Malcolm, who I met in an argument on a radio show, and I started going out there in front of the courthouse, I'd never venture into this area. And then I met the late, great Cindy Adeshuel Bay, DJ Breeze, and it's been a process, it's been a journey. And it's been a battle of attrition, but you know, I do have a background in political science. I used to be a union steward for the Teamsters with UPS. Love the Teamsters, love collective bargaining, love labor unions. I had my parents are both retired military, so I had great tutors growing up, great mentors. My brother's a professor. I'm probably what they would consider the black sheep of the family, because I fight anything. Not that they wouldn't, but I've had a lot to go my way, and I made bad decisions along the way as well. And it kind of brought me here. So I've never been afraid to stand up for myself, and I hate bullies. And for right now, I think State Farm is a bully. I think they've done a disservice to the Tuckers. They did a disservice to me. They've done a disservice to the country, because they knowingly and willingly undermine VA veterans' care, at least in my situation. And let me say this also, because I didn't bring it up in there, where one of the attorneys said on the record, we've had other cases, unrelated cases, where plaintiffs treated the VA, see Dr. Shim for the CME, and nobody raises the issue. So y'all do this all the time. This is just how y'all get down. So that actually brought me. Listen, if it was just me, I probably would have been okay with it. But knowing what they did to veterans, and I know what other people have done, I've done funeral detail in the military. There's certain things I just don't play with. And I also gave them an opportunity to resolve this, as you know. I gave them plenty of chances to fix this. They essentially said, screw me and everything.
Yeah, because this case has been going on from start to finish. From what date, what year to start, and we're in 2023.
I filed in 2018. She hit me on January 16, 2017.
And just briefly, if someone wanted to takes a case to court, from start to finish, just a little small timeline of what do they need to do if they're doing it on their own without a lawyer?
Without an attorney?
Yes.
What kind of case?
Let's say it's a case like yours, for example.
Negligence case. This is not legal advice, but what I can do is I will tell them what I did. First, I reached out to the insurance company. Let me say this also. I have friends and I have a father who worked in insurance, so I had a little bit of insurance background. I reached out to the insurance company after the lady hit me. The insurance company accepted liability, or they may not accept liability. I asked the insurance company, pursuant to Florida statute 627, I think it's 4127, to give me the policy for that person. I had the policy. Well, they get 30 days to give it to you. I went around with that. After that, I tried to negotiate a settlement with them. They gave me the middle finger several times. After continuing to negotiate, I filed a lawsuit in 2018. Up to that time, I was going and getting my own treatment. Now, I do have the benefit of being a veteran, so I get care. So, but if you don't have care, anybody who has PIP, your PIP is going to cover, I think, up to your first $10,000. So you get your treat. I got my treatment. We established that I have bulging disc and have some issues I didn't have prior to it hitting me. I go through that process, and then you just go through the court process. I had to file request for production. I had to file request for admission, file interrogatories. I set up my own depositions. Actually, my depositions are filmed. So when I film Ms. Tucker, I actually have that. Because, you know, in the depositions, it's like being in trial. Whatever you say, they can use against you. So, you know, and you can also see body language inside of the depositions. So when they film you, so if it were me, I would encourage people to film the depositions if you can afford it, and then you just go through the trial process. Listen, in most instances, it should never have gotten this far. Everybody knows she had the coverage. So what are we doing? Why are all these moving parts doing things when the lady had coverage?
And then let me just ask you, so you went through all of that process. So how did you decide to appeal to the Second District Court of Appeals?
The judge ordered me to sign something I didn't agree to sign.
And it was just as simple as that. You didn't
tell me what I got to do. I'm a grown man. I'm 55 years old, and I'm black in America. You don't tell me what I got to do. Sound crazy.
So the reason why you appealed to the Second District Court of Appeals is because the judge ordered you to sign a document that you felt.
No, that I knew I did not agree to. I knew did not adequately articulate the spirit of our mediations. I don't want to give too much information. Mm-hmm. And it included parties that were not a part of the complaint. I sued these people. Why I got a whole list of other people, and this stuff come off for any and all issues. They wanted me to release the State Farm law firm, all of its employees, and any of their heirs, the State Farm Insurance Company, all of its employees and all of their heirs, Dr. Shim, his family, associates, and what I got to do with these people right here?
So now that it's all said and done, you got your oral arguments out, and
Not be done. We're hoping it is.
Well, I mean, in terms of the day, getting the argument done, what do you think? What do you expect the outcome to be? What do you want to happen?
What I want to happen is that the court would issue a ruling to start everything all over again, set aside the the judge's order. And if we get to start all this all over again, boy, it gets to get real fun.
And that's funny that you say that, because I have experience with that. That's exactly what happened when I won my case in this court right here. I did not do an oral argument like Greg did. It was just all written, but that's what happened. The justices ended up reversing the case, and we had to retry the case all over again, and I ended up winning. So I understand that portion of it. So you want the entire judgment to be reversed, and you want to have a brand spanking new.
Well, I know I proffered enough information to get to amend my complaint to include punitive damages, because she said she hit me on purpose. And you know, when it's punitive damages, if you don't know, the cap comes off. And if you get an excess judgment, then the State Farm will be responsible for paying the excess judgment beyond the limits of the coverage.
All right. Okay, so we kind of we're here for a civil case. This is a civil case, but real quick, I know that a lot of people have issues with like stuff like child support, criminal issues. Just real. I know you're not a lawyer, you don't give legal advice, but what would you recommend for people that want to represent themselves in cases of criminal cases and
Want
other
to?
types of civil cases like child support? Because you've won. Again, I want to remind people this man has won 14 cases pro se on his own. And again, pro se means you are representing yourself without an attorney. So you got to be pretty sharp. You got to be pretty persistent. You can't be a person that plays games. You got to be a person that is diligent about going after your rights. So people that have criminal cases or people that have stuff like child support that want to represent themselves, maybe they don't have the funds to hire an attorney. What advice do you have for those types of people?
Advice. What I would recommend is to talk to an
Recommend.
attorney.
Okay.
As I do, because if you don't know, I do speak with attorneys all the time. I won't put out their names other than the one, of course, I work for, but I speak to attorneys. I go to, like we were here in the law library, but I also have resources that I pay for. But I have people who support me in what I do. I would recommend you being willing to do work. You're gonna lose sleep. There's gonna be plenty of sleepless nights, and to get to what your issues are. Find out what your identify your issues, identify the rules, find a way to articulate those, and then come to a conclusion. Because you're gonna have to file briefs. And I just wouldn't play with my freedom. Even when it came to child support, I just was willing to fight it. But I understood how to read. Certain legal issues are not that complex. They're not ambiguous.
And where would a person start with their legal research if they was doing it on their own?
The Constitution.
Okay,
of
the
United
Constitution.
States. But most cases aren't federal. Most cases are state-based. And for those of you out there who talk about the crime bill, and he wrote the crime bill, most people didn't go to jail for federal offenses. Most people go to jail for state offenses. So the fact that somebody writes a bill doesn't mean that the bill affects you.
So they would start with the Constitution and then.
The United States and then the state constitution.
So the United States Constitution, then the state constitution, and then.
Then read the rules, whether the criminal rules, procedures.
And where do you find this stuff at? Like,
There's this thing called the internet.
Okay, where at on the internet? Like, what website?
Google.
You Google?
PDF, United States Constitution, PDF, State of Florida Constitution, PDF, Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure, PDF, Florida Rules of Civil Procedure, PDF, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, PDF, Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. And it's there. And then you want to find the information that is germane to your case. And I tell everybody, if it were me also, I wouldn't be listening to some of these clowns on the internet. If they can't show you what they've done, I would probably stay away from them. Because I can tell you I'm Superman, walk up here to the top of that rotunda and hop off, and I'm going to drop at 32 feet per second.
Right, and as a person that has gotten results, when you say show what they've done, if a person has successfully represented themselves without a lawyer, or I'm speaking specifically of pro se's, that would be public record, correct?
If you're represented by an attorney, it's public record, I believe. Big man, they can seal some things in federal court. They can seal. Most of it's state court. They cannot seal.
Right, but what I'm
But
saying.
there's gonna be a record in the public record.
Yes, it's going to be a public record.
It's gonna come up.
Got it. Okay.
Good, bad, and indifferent. I think they showed my thing when they showed my criminal file. I think I've been arrested about 20 some odd times. When you say the convictions, yeah, that man. I'm willing to go to jail. And also, people, the side of the road, big man will tell you, is not the place to be arguing with the police. Go to jail. Because they're going to take you probably anyway. Go to jail. So there you can fight from jail. You can't fight from 6 feet under. And I definitely recommend that if you look like me.
All right. Thank you, Alex, for joining us. So in closing, is there anything else that you want to say? Because we're about to end this.
University of Thomas Jefferson High School. Shout out to you all for coming to support me. Shout out to my man Crump, my buddy Life. I'm sure he's going to critique me pretty diligently and effectively. And I get yelled at by all the attorneys who know me. People, if you don't know, they'll tell me when I'm doing too much. Shout out to family, friends, and everybody else who's ever supported me. Shout out to the United States Army and everybody who ever put on a uniform, regardless of what branch.
All right. Well, thank you for giving us this interview. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, right now we are filming from the Second District Court of Appeals, and yes, this is the court where I'm not bragging about this. I'm just saying I beat Tommy Sotomayor. I beat him in this court. I did. I'm not gonna put the camera on the other people that's here, but they over here laughing. They over here laughing. They over here laughing. I'm not gonna put the camera on them. It's other people in here. I'm not gonna put the camera on them, but I am gonna put the camera on this court. This is the court where I beat the Second District Court of Appeals. This is public record. I beat him. I was a pro se litigant. And I did not do oral arguments. I just submitted my brief, and I beat Tommy Sotomayor in this court. And it is public record. Y'all can go look me up. Y'all already know. Yes, I beat him 3 times in the state court. I beat him in the appellate court.
Who was your attorney?
Oh, Life Malcolm. Life Malcolm. And don't you work for Life Malcolm's firm?
Yeah.
I beat Tommy Sotomayor in the federal courts with
Attorney
Life Malcolm
Law.
Yep, Life Malcolm Law. Yep. So yes, I do have to like show that off. I am not gonna put y'all on camera. I want to put y'all on camera, but I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. This is it. This is the courtroom right here, y'all. This is it. So yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I want to thank y'all for taking the time to watch. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all share this video. The website is darkskinactivist.com. Y'all can make a donation. The Cash App is $RASHIDA'Lala, $RASHIDA'Lala. And I want to thank the people that sent me some donations this morning. I appreciate y'all for that. And that's it, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. And yeah, that's it.
I think the issue with Shannon caught their attention. Yeah. And then the attorney filed a Shannon thing.
Y'all need to let me film y'all. You don't care if I film you? Oh, I did not know. You want to say hi? Would you like to do a little interview here? Why are you here to support? Y'all, this is my infamous light-skinned cousin I be talking about. What you got to say? You got anything you want to say?
I'm just glad to be here and to see this in front of me. It helped me to gain knowledge on representation in the future if I want to be so it was just quite, I don't know, informative. Very informative. I think you did a really good job representing yourself, and I think more people should look into doing that, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and that's about it.
They did Jerry.
Jerry. Hey, Jerry. All right, y'all. That's it. Okay.
I did though. I enjoyed it. I was like, I was thinking it's gonna keep going longer and longer.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought that they was gonna have more cases in here, but apparently they didn't have more cases in here.
I didn't think it was gonna be like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Let me put the camera on the law library. It's a law library over here. Yeah. I didn't know if he wanted me to film him. Oh, you don't want to be filmed? I don't film people that don't want to be filmed. All right, y'all. So that's it. I will talk to y'all again soon. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Like and share. See y'all later. Bye.